What's going on, guys? We're back with another video, and today we're taking a look at this case right here. This is the Thermaltake, the Tower 300, and I actually saw it for the first time back in January at CES, and since then I've been wanting to do a build in it, and as you can see, I've done that, so let's go ahead and take a look. Now to start things off, as you can see, we have the white or snow version of the Tower 300. It's actually going to be available in 7 different color options, which I will go ahead and put up on the screen. Now, if you are wondering about size, I'll go ahead and put the official dimensions, right here like I always do. Now, based on its size, it's going to put it in between the Tower 100 and 200 and the Tower 500 offerings from Thermaltake. The big change with the Tower 300 is that Thermaltake is now using an octagonal design with angled corners instead of the 90-degree ones that we saw on previous cases. This gives the case a sort of capsule look and allows for better viewing angles into the case. Talking about that, looking at the front of the case, we have all tempered glass, which is actually made up of 3 panels. 1 large main front panel and 2 smaller angled panels. At the bottom of the case, we have a completely removable pull-out filter. If we look at the sides of the case, each one is completely ventilated, and you'll see why in just a little bit. The back of the case also features a large ventilated section with a removable magnetic filter. If we remove it, we can see we have mounts for 2 120 or 140 millimeter fans. At the bottom of the case is our power supply mount. Moving up to the top of the case, we find our buttons and connections, which are centrally located. There's a large power button, smaller reset button, headphone and microphone jacks, 2 USB 3.0 Type A ports, a single USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type C port, as well as power and hard drive activity LEDs. You'll find that the top of the case is completely ventilated. Pulling up on it, it will easily pop off. With the top of the case removed, we can see 2 pre-installed 140 millimeter fans, which are in an exhaust position. These are Thermaltake's own CT140 fans, which spin up to 1500 RPM with a max noise level of 30.5 dBA. These are the only fans that actually come with the case. These fans do sit on a removable fan bracket, and you can just open the case up sort of like this, and that gives you access to all of your ports on your motherboard and of course your expansion cards. Now you will have to open this up every time you want to connect something to your motherboard, so that could get a little annoying if you're somebody who's constantly plugging and unplugging things to your motherboard or your expansion cards. Getting inside the case here is really easy. All you have to do is just press with both your fingers on the top of the center panel, and it's going to release and unlock, and we can go ahead and just simply remove it. Once we have it removed, the subsequent side panels just pop off, so all you have to do is just pull them off just like that, and we can easily pull this second one off, no problem. The side panels of the case here are just held into place by magnets, so they are pretty easy to get off. You kind of just put your finger in the gap and you pull them right off. Now on this side, you can see that we do have our radiator installed. Now this is a removable cooling bracket, and this bracket will support 3 120 or 140 millimeter fans, as well as radiators all the way up to 420 millimeters. Now on this side, we just have sort of just an opening here, and this is going to give you access to your expansion cards and all of the headers and connectors on the bottom of your motherboard. Looking inside, we have an inverted motherboard layout, as our motherboard tray has been rotated 90 degrees. This means when you install your motherboard, the rear I/O ports will be facing up towards the top of the case. Talking about motherboards, this case will support both mini ITX and micro ATX motherboards. If you're wondering about graphics card support, the Tower 300 will support 4-slot graphics cards as long as 400 millimeters. Looking down into the case, there's a sort of power supply cover. Now we've installed a third 120 millimeter fan here, but this section will support either a 140 or 120 millimeter fan. On the same side as the removable cooling bracket, there's a small removable storage mount that will support either a single 2.5-inch SSD or 3.5-inch hard drive. The back of the case can be easily removed as well. Once removed, we find another storage bracket that supports 2 2.5-inch SSDs or 2 3.5-inch hard drives. This bracket can be easily removed from the case for easy installation of your drives. We also find plenty of routing holes as well as tie-down points back here. Thermaltake also sells an optional horizontal stand kit. This is made up of a stand and a bottom cap for the case. It lets you orient the case horizontally, which really makes it look like a capsule. When it's all said and done, I have to say that I really do like this case. The minor change of making these corners angled just brings all new life into this case, and I really like it. Now, this is gonna be a case where you wanna show off your build, of course, with all of this tempered glass, and you can definitely do it with this case. But on top of that, you know, being a smaller case per se, in a kind of an awkward case with a different motherboard layout, you can actually fit quite a lot in here as well. You know, again, we can do up to a 420 millimeter radiator on this side. And then for our graphics card support, you know, you can do a 4-slot graphics card up to 400 millimeters. So if you wanted to do something like a 14900K, you have the cooling power for that. And if you wanted to do a 4090, you can fit it over on that side. So I really like that you can fit quite a lot in this case. Installation is quite easy as well. Everything goes together. You know, for our radiator, you can take the cooling bracket out to install your radiator. Everything is pretty easy overall. I really didn't run into that many issues. If anything, if you are installing a micro ATX case, some of the routing holes are just a little small, so it's something to keep in mind. But overall, installation is quite easy. And like I said, you're gonna have a really awesome looking system. There is a couple quirks with this case, one of them being because we have the inverted motherboard layout, all of your connections are up top, and you essentially have to open the case every time that you want to connect something to your motherboard or one of your expansion cards. And then all of the cables come out the back of the case and they come out from the top. So it just makes a lot of cable mess out the back. I'm not the biggest fan of that. But like I said, overall, this is a really good case. Now I have links below where you can go ahead and pick this up. This is selling currently for $139.99, which I think is a very fair price. I'll also have a link below to our full written review over at ThinkComputers.org. But if you did have any questions about the Tower 300, go ahead and leave it below in the comments, and we'll see you guys in the next video.